In society, the question often arises about the true nature of existence for older men who choose to live alone, without a constant female presence. This is a topic that sparks curiosity in many, yet its deeper understanding is accessible to few. Common stereotypes frequently paint a picture of bleak loneliness or unhappiness, but the reality is far more multifaceted. It is filled with expressions of independence, opportunities for personal growth, and unique challenges that shape their lives. In this material, we will thoroughly examine 6 key aspects of the lives of older men who live in solitude. We will explore why many of them find a source of strength and self-fulfillment in their separateness, how they build their social connections, and what significance this holds for their overall well-being. The ideas presented here not only challenge prevalent misconceptions, but can also profoundly change the reader's perspective on concepts of independence and interpersonal communication in later life. This is not merely about dry statistics or superficial opinions. It is crucial to truly comprehend these men, empathize with their life experiences, and perhaps even glean valuable lessons by observing how they construct their lives according to their own rules. 1. Independence as a source of strength and self-determination. For a significant number of older men leading solitary lives, independence is not merely a utilitarian choice or a random circumstance. It is a deeply ingrained fundamental value that largely shapes their personality and worldview. The feeling of autonomy grants them the ability to make decisions freely, manage their daily routines without the need for compromise, and fully control their personal space. Living alone often represents a conscious choice, driven by the desire to preserve this precious freedom, which many men come to perceive as an inexhaustible source of inner strength as they age. This independence manifests in diverse forms. Some men relish the privilege of waking up at their preferred time, eating what they desire, and organizing their home entirely according to their preferences. Others highly value the absence of needing to coordinate plans or tastes with anyone, which significantly reduces stress levels and contributes to a calm, measured existence. The ability to live by their own rules is a critically important factor that contributes to their well-being and strengthens their sense of self-respect. From a psychological perspective, such autonomy actively supports a positive self-perception. Older men who highly value their independence often feel more confident and competent, which in turn has a beneficial effect on their overall mental health. They are able to view their life situation as an expression of inner strength, rather than a sign of loneliness, embracing solitude as a favorable time for deep self-reflection, developing hobbies, and continuous personal growth. This attitude sharply contrasts with common stereotypes that mistakenly equate a solitary life with social isolation or a state of sadness. For example, 78-year-old Tom, a retired teacher, finds deep satisfaction in managing his household. He states, "I enjoy the peace and quiet. I have the space to do what I want, when I want, and that means a lot at this stage of life." His story resonates with many others who see a solitary life not as a burden, but as a valuable opportunity for self-fulfillment. However, it is important to emphasize that independence is not synonymous with complete isolation. Many older men living alone are actively integrated into their local communities, passionately pursue various hobbies, and maintain strong friendships. Their independence allows them to choose when and how to engage in social interactions, finding a harmonious balance between solitude and meaningful social contacts. This first truth demonstrates that for many older men, living alone is not a manifestation of loneliness, but a conscious preservation of a cherished sense of personal dignity and sovereignty. It is a way of life that, when embraced mindfully, can bring peace, deep satisfaction, and resilience as they navigate the complexities of the aging process. 2. Cultivating social connections beyond romantic relationships. Contrary to the widespread misconception that living alone inevitably leads to isolation, the reality for older men who choose this lifestyle is often dramatically different. Many of them form extensive and rich social circles that are entirely independent of romantic partnerships. These diverse connections, be they strong friendships, robust family ties, active participation in community groups, or shared interests and hobbies, provide essential emotional support and a deep sense of belonging, effectively preventing the onset of loneliness. Older men who live alone often direct significant time and energy toward developing and strengthening friendships that may have been neglected in their younger years. These friendships can take on particular significance as they are often formed based on shared life experiences accumulated over decades. Active participation in social life, whether through volunteering, attending various interest clubs, or engaging in local community events, provides ample opportunities for communication and interaction. Unlike the dynamics of romantic relationships, these connections tend to be more flexible, allowing men to maintain social contacts on their own terms, without additional emotional complexity and obligations. From a psychological perspective, such friendships play a vital role. They provide necessary companionship, validation of self-worth, and opportunities for deep conversations, which are critical for maintaining mental health in later life. The freedom to choose social interactions, rather than a sense of obligation to a partner, often contributes to reduced social stress. It also empowers men to surround themselves with supportive individuals who genuinely understand and respect their lifestyle. As an example, consider Robert, a 74-year-old retired engineer who lives alone by choice. He regularly meets with a close group of friends for weekly card games and weekend hikes. "We don't have to be married or in a relationship to have deep connections," Robert shared. "These friendships keep me grounded and remind me I'm not alone." Beyond peer friendships, family often plays a significant role. Grandchildren, siblings, and cousins can provide regular interaction, and many men deeply value these bonds. Modern technology also helps bridge geographical distances, allowing for phone calls and video chats that maintain closeness despite physical separation. Understanding that social satisfaction can come from various sources beyond a romantic partner is an important truth. It highlights how older men living alone can maintain a fulfilling and active social life without conforming to traditional expectations of companionship. This autonomy in social relationships contributes to their sense of freedom and emotional well-being. 3. Health status and the role of lifestyle choices. Contrary to the common belief that living alone automatically leads to poorer health, the truth for older men living solo is far more complex and multifaceted. Health outcomes in this group vary widely and depend largely on individual lifestyle choices and the presence of reliable social support systems. While some men may face challenges related to loneliness or limited assistance with daily tasks, many others maintain excellent physical and mental health by actively and consciously managing their well-being. Many older men living alone develop and strictly adhere to routines that prioritize healthy habits. They may deliberately focus on balanced nutrition, regular physical exercise, and consistent medical care. The autonomy of a solitary life sometimes motivates men to take greater responsibility for their health, as they cannot rely on a partner for reminders or support. This sense of personal accountability for their own well-being often leads to the formation of disciplined self-care practices. Mental health is another key factor. While social isolation can certainly pose a risk, many men find that living alone offers peace and significantly reduces the stress that can arise from complex or conflict-ridden relationships. The ability to fully control their environment and avoid interpersonal conflicts contributes to emotional stability. Mindfulness practices, hobbies, and active community involvement can also serve as effective buffers against feelings of loneliness. The story of George, a 79-year-old retired firefighter, perfectly illustrates this. He lives alone but remains physically active through daily walks and swimming. George also regularly visits a local senior center where he participates in group activities that maintain his social connections. Living alone doesn't mean being unhealthy, he says. It means taking responsibility for your life. However, it is important to acknowledge the challenges some men face. Without a partner, they may struggle with managing chronic illnesses or in emergencies where immediate assistance is required. This underscores the critical importance of establishing reliable support networks and actively utilizing modern technologies for health monitoring and maintaining constant communication. Overall, the diverse health outcomes of older men living alone show that lifestyle choices, not just marital status, play a decisive role. For many, living alone provides the necessary space and powerful motivation to adopt healthy habits that support longevity and a high quality of life. 4. Financial independence and control. One of the less discussed, yet extremely important truths regarding older men leading solitary lives, is the significant role of financial independence in their decision and ability to live autonomously. Possessing complete control over their own finances means these men can make decisions that perfectly align with their individual lifestyle, without the need for compromise or coordination with anyone. Self-managing their money gives them the freedom to live comfortably, manage expenses on their own terms, and plan their future exactly as it suits their personal goals and aspirations. Financial autonomy often serves as a cornerstone explaining why many older men prefer to live alone. It allows them to prioritize expenditures, whether investing in beloved hobbies, travel, home improvements, or medical care. They do not need to reconcile budgets or worry about potential conflicts of financial priorities that can sometimes arise in partnerships. This level of control can provide deep peace of mind and significantly reduce the stress often associated with monetary disagreements. Beyond daily expenses, self-managing finances involves making important decisions regarding retirement plans, insurance, and estate planning. Older men living alone often take pride in successfully handling these responsibilities, viewing it as an integral part of their self-sufficiency and maturity. This autonomy extends beyond mere possession of money. It is linked to a deeper sense of self-worth and self-esteem. Consider Paul, a 72-year-old retired accountant who lives alone and meticulously manages his finances. He shared, "I like knowing exactly where my money goes and making decisions without answering to anyone. It empowers me and helps me feel secure." Paul's experience mirrors that of many others who find financial control to be an essential component of their independence and high quality of life. However, with this control comes the inseparable responsibility for prudent and forward-thinking planning. Without a partner to share the financial burden, men must ensure they have adequate safety nets, such as sufficient savings, reliable insurance, and effective support systems. Financial literacy and proactive management are absolutely necessary to maintain this independence into their later years. This fourth truth emphasizes that financial independence is not just about money. It's about the ability to live life on one's own terms. For many older men, control over their finances is a key element in their decision to live alone, supporting their autonomy and overall well-being. 5. Emotional resilience and self-awareness. One of the most profound truths about older men living alone is the high level of emotional resilience and self-awareness they often possess. Choosing a solitary life in later years is rarely an accidental or forced decision. It reflects a deep understanding of oneself and significant emotional strength, allowing them to embrace independence, even when society might expect a different scenario. This resilience helps them navigate life's challenges without relying on a partner for emotional support. Many older men develop effective coping strategies that enable them to deal with stress, feelings of loneliness, or setbacks with dignity and inner strength. They learn to value their own company and find deep satisfaction in hobbies, reflection, and meaningful activities. This developed self-awareness contributes to a sense of contentment and inner peace that may be unavailable to those who heavily depend on relationships for validation of their worth and value. From a psychological perspective, this resilience is closely linked to acceptance of life changes, personal limitations, and new opportunities without resistance or denial. Older men living alone often report feeling more authentic and free to express their true selves without the pressures and expectations that relationships sometimes bring. This honesty with oneself is a powerful source of confidence and deep satisfaction. Take the story of Samuel, a 77-year-old retired teacher who has lived alone for over a decade. He describes his solitary life as a time for reconnecting with himself and enjoying moments without compromise. Samuel's experience is common among men who live alone by choice, reflecting the significant emotional growth that comes with years of accumulated experience. This emotional resilience does not mean that these men never feel lonely or vulnerable. On the contrary, it means they have developed internal tools to constructively confront these feelings. Practices such as meditation, journaling, or active community involvement can serve as effective outlets for maintaining emotional balance and a healthy perspective. Understanding this truth sheds light on the often unseen strength of older men living alone. It challenges common stereotypes and urges us to appreciate the emotional complexity and maturity that underpin their conscious lifestyle choice. 6. Social connections beyond romantic relationships. Another important truth about older men who live alone is their ability to develop deep and meaningful social connections that extend far beyond romantic partnerships. Living in solitude does not at all mean inevitable isolation or disconnection from the world. On the contrary, many men actively create strong networks of friends, maintain close family ties, and participate in community life, which provides them with essential emotional and social support, profoundly enriching their existence. These social connections often take different forms than those characteristic of younger years or for people in couples. For example, men may maintain close friendships formed around shared interests, such as sports, volunteering, or participation in various interest clubs. They may also retain strong bonds with siblings, children, and grandchildren, which brings them warmth and continuous companionship. Such relationships are often perceived as more stable and less burdened by complexities than romantic ones, allowing for genuine and fulfilling interaction. Social activity is crucial for maintaining emotional well-being, cognitive health, and even physical longevity. Men who live alone but remain socially active generally report higher levels of life satisfaction and significantly lower levels of depression and anxiety. They find that developing diverse relationships, rather than focusing solely on romantic ones, provides robust resilience against feelings of loneliness and substantially enriches their daily lives. Consider the example of Walter, an 80-year-old retired engineer who lives alone but is actively involved in his community gardening club and weekly book discussions. He states, "My friends and family fill my life with joy and meaning. Living alone has freed me to focus on these relationships without distractions." It is also common for these men to engage in intergenerational connections. Volunteering in local schools or mentoring younger individuals gives them a deep sense of contribution and belonging. These roles help them feel valued and connected to society, which is crucial for maintaining mental health and a positive outlook. The sixth truth emphasizes that living alone is not about loneliness, but a conscious choice of relationships that best suit an individual's lifestyle and emotional needs. For many older men, a rich social life exists outside of romantic partnerships, creating a balanced and meaningful existence. Concluding thoughts. To conclude, let's take a moment to reflect on the 6 truths explored regarding older men who choose to live alone, without a female partner. Each of these truths reveals a layer of inner strength, wisdom, and purpose that often goes unnoticed or is misinterpreted. Whether it's their pursuit of independence, their developed emotional resilience, or the rich social connections they carefully maintain, these men have managed to build lives filled with meaning, on their own terms. The reader is invited to consider which of these truths resonates most with their own experience. Perhaps someone recognizes a part of their personal story in the idea of embracing independence. Or perhaps it is the significance of cultivating friendships, not limited by the confines of romantic relationships, that evokes a deep understanding in the reader. Regardless of which aspect proved most resonant, it is important to realize that each person's individual experience is authentic and shared by many others following similar life paths. Existence in solitude should not be equated with a state of isolation or a feeling of lacking something. On the contrary, it can become a vibrant manifestation of deep self-awareness and complete self-realization. Such a life path requires significant courage and unwavering commitment to one's principles, often leading to profound personal development that enriches not only their own existence but also positively impacts the lives of those around them.